GMBU.
The head of the Charles returns to Boston this weekend, celebrating its 60th anniversary.
Hundreds are expected to gather in the Boston Common and across the nation tomorrow for another round of No Kings protests.
A 13-year-old boy from Everett, Massachusetts has been arrested and sent to a detention facility by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement.
The Trump administration has authorized the CIA to conduct covert operations in Venezuela, escalating its campaign against President Maduro.
And BU's a cappella groups will take the stage tonight to perform at their annual Oktoberfest performance.
Live from Studio West in the College of Communication, Good Morning BU starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Good Morning BU. I'm Natalie Lett.
And I'm George Lehman. Here are today's top stories. The head of the Charles Regatta is back in Boston for its 60th anniversary. This three-day rowing race brings in roughly 11,000 athletes across 2,000 boats, competing in events based on boat size and age. Now let's check in with our live shot correspondent, Kara Mem, and see if she can get us some insider information on the rowing this weekend. Kara? So it seems like we're having some issues, but we're going to be moving on. So let's move on to the next story. So moving on to the BU Medical Campus. Natalie, you want to take this one?
I will. An electrical fire in the basement of the Houseman Medical Research Center forced a complete evacuation of the building this past Wednesday. The Boston Fire Department arrived at the scene around noon after reports of smoke were detected on several floors. The actual fire was contained to just one room where the electrical issue began. Despite the temporary loss of power and delays, no one was reported to be injured.
The National Institutes of Health recognized two Boston University researchers for their distinguished advancements within the science community. Julia Bond, an assistant professor at BU's School of Public Health, focused her research on improving sexual well-being. College of Arts and Sciences assistant professor Meg Younger centered her studies on stopping mosquitoes from biting humans. Both researchers received funding for continued research.
Nobel Peace Prize winner Nadia Murad visited students and staff at Boston University's Morse Auditorium on Wednesday. Her discussion, called Women, Power, and Justice, touched on her experience of being captured and sexually abused by ISIS during its genocidal campaign against the Yazidi people in Iraq in 2014. Since escaping to Germany, she's begun to advocate for survivors of genocide and sexual violence. During her visit to BU, Murad held a book signing for her most recent memoir, The Last Girl, My Story of Captivity and My Fight Against the Islamic State.
And one of BU's professors is celebrating the release of her own book. Interview correspondent Gabriela Sawade sat down with the author for a preview.
Boston University School of Hospitality Administration, Leora Lands is shaping the future of the industry she has spent her life in. As an associate professor of the practice, Lands brings real-world experience into the classroom. From her early days studying at BU and interning at the Four Seasons to leading major consulting projects across the hospitality world, Lands knows the industry in and out. Through her book, Developing Your Marketing Mindset, she reminds the industry that true hospitality begins with wellness, sustainability, and community.
I really do believe there's going to be a couple of golden nuggets that anyone can take away from this. I think it's really important to know if there's overall lessons from this book. I believe everyone should have a marketing mindset.
In a world where hospitality often lags behind, Lands' book sets an example for other businesses and industries to follow. And when asked what keeps her motivated, she says it's her students, her biggest cheerleaders. For Lands, their support is what drives her to keep pushing the industry forward.
I want our alums to be proud of what we deliver in our school and the lessons learned in our program that are practical, that are eternal, that transcend industries. And I also hope other industries can learn from us.
For Lands, this book is more than just words on a page. It's a roadmap for the industry's future. Or as she likes to say, think like a marketer, act like the owner. For Good Morning BU, I'm Gabrielle Seaman.
Thanks, Gabrielle. Boston's iconic Citgo sign is on the move. The city has approved the final phase to restore and relocate the well-known Kenmore Square landmark, lifting it 30 feet higher and 120 feet east to keep its skyline visibility. Governor Maura Healey and Mayor Michelle Wu praised the project, calling the sign a beloved treasure. First installed in 1940 and updated with the Citgo logo in 1965, the sign will be anchored to new supports on the Beacon Street building, ensuring it continues to shine over Kenmore Square for years to continue.
In other campus news, Boston University is rolling out a new wave of vending options for students. The 18 newly installed micro markets and 5 MetaCubes are under surveillance and have cashier-free payment options like credit, debit, and Apple Pay. Associate Vice President of BU Auxiliary Services told the Daily Free Press that the micro markets aim to enhance dining options for students after the closure of both late-night dining options and the law school cafe. Still, other students have cited insufficient stocking and payment issues. Moving forward, BU says it's focused on tweaking the system for a better user experience and a higher number of food options available to maximize student satisfaction. And don't go anywhere. After the break, we've got updates on recent ICE movements and government motions in Massachusetts.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that the big homie needs help too. You can't just rebound from everything. I know you've been grinding.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. I wonder why we waited so long. I'm not wondering anymore. Love, your mind. Let's see how far we can go.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back. This weekend, hundreds are expected to gather in Boston Common to protest the Trump administration. This week, politics correspondent Caitlin Dinas learned about what it takes to organize a No Kings demonstration.
This Saturday, thousands of protesters will gather on Boston Commons for No Kings Day as part of a second wave of nationwide protests against the Trump administration, which started back in June. Rebecca Winter, from the leading event organizer Mass 5051, says No Kings began as a reminder that leadership in America isn't meant to look like royalty.
This country was founded on the principle that we do not have a king, that this country is for all of our people. And the Trump administration clearly wants to platform Donald Trump as their king.
Hundreds of national and local advocacy organizations have joined forces under No Kings. Brian Garvey with Massachusetts Peace Association, one of the partner groups, believes it's this coalition effort that's helped the movement expand so quickly.
It allows people who approach the need for justice work from different perspectives to get together, to network, to know each other, to build resilient networks that can stand up to state power.
However, experts warn that mobilization alone isn't enough to create lasting impact. Michael Ansara, a veteran organizer since the Civil Rights Movement, says sustained organization is also essential.
We need to mobilize, but we also need to organize, not just as a one-time protest, but to build their organizations, building teams and groups that can sustain protest and can sustain winning elections. Then it becomes part of a process of building mass political power.
Mass 5051 organizers say they're helping build that momentum, setting up action booths this weekend to help participants register to vote, join local initiatives, and stay engaged after the protest.
This weekend here on Boston Common, organizers and participants will gather for the next step of the No Kings movement. The question now, how ready is the nation to see demands for change turn into something lasting? Reporting for Good Morning BU, I'm Caitlin Danis.
Thanks, Caitlin. Staying in Boston, 1,400 people were detained in the greater Boston area this month as part of the latest round of immigration crackdowns conducted by the Trump administration. In what they called Patriot 2.0, ICE said the arrests took place between September 4th and the 30th and have targeted the nation's unauthorized criminals. Of the 1,406 undocumented immigrants arrested, less than half have been convicted of or charged with significant crimes. ICE said that 277 of those arrested were in the country despite being removed by an immigration judge.
A 13-year-old boy from Everett, Massachusetts was arrested and sent to a detention facility by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement last Thursday. Arthur Berto was arrested by Everett police after they received a, quote, credible tip that he made a violent threat and had a knife in his possession at school, per Everett Mayor Carlo DeMaria. The police department declined to give specifics on their findings, but DeMaria said Everett police had no communication with ICE. Berto has made contact back home from 2 different immigration facilities, one in Massachusetts and one in Virginia. Berto and his family came to the U.S. from Brazil and have had pending asylum applications since.
Mayor Michelle Wu will host the first ever State of the Schools address on Tuesday, October 28th. According to a statement from the mayor's office released yesterday, the event is set to highlight both the progress and challenges within the Boston public school system. Wu says the district, under the leadership of Superintendent Mary Skipper, is setting ambitious goals, raising academic expectations, and providing stronger support for students. According to the announcement, Wu will celebrate Boston's educators and outline a shared agenda to make BPS the first choice for Boston families in a time when public education is under attack. The address will take place at the Josiah Quincy Upper School in Chinatown from 7 o'clock to 8 p.m. In one of the most anticipated primary contests in the country, 2 of Massachusetts' top politicians are running against each other. Representative Seth Moulton, a moderate Democrat, announced this week that he will challenge Senator Edward Markey for the Democratic nomination in the next year's Senate race. Moulton has made age a factor in the race, arguing it's time for a new generation of leadership. Moulton said he will focus on his campaign with issues like affordability, health care, banning assault weapons, and protecting democracy.
Fenway Health announced that it will no longer provide gender-affirming care for patients under 19 on Monday. While the clinical facility has been historically welcoming of Boston's LGBTQ+ community, this closure is in response to a federal requirement from the Health Resources and Services Administration that threatens the clinic's funding for over 30,000 patients. Alejandra Caraballo, a former board member of Fenway Health, said the move was, quote, cowardly capitulation sacrificing trans youth. Somerville City Councilor J.T. Scott said on Blue Sky that residents can contact the Attorney General and Governor to halt the efforts of the Trump administration to end gender-affirming care. Stick with us after this short break to hear about how an impromptu Celtics game and the latest on 2 successful BU sports teams.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that the big homie needs help too. That you can't just rebound from everything. I know you've been grinding.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help. I wonder why we waited so long. I'm not wondering anymore. Love, your mind. Let's see how far we can go.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Welcome back. We have our live correspondent Kara Mim reporting about the regatta from the BU Bridge.
Thanks, Natalie. Well, all weekend long, Boston will be celebrating 60 years of the Boston Charles Head of the River Regatta. Now, if you're coming here, you're going to be seeing nearly 12,000 rowers along the Charles River from 25 different countries, ranging from ages from 11 to 90 years old. If you're like me and you're going to be watching the event, you might want to get your elbows ready because there's expected to be nearly 325,000 people watching. Also, like me, I'm not really familiar with rowing lingo, but guess who is? Senior BU rower Abby Berg. She's on the BU women's open weight team.
Yes.
Abby, give us some slang we should know.
Some slang you might want to know is power 10. This is when a coxswain calls for 10 strokes, hardest max effort to try to get around a crew or to try to get excitement up and get the power going.
Okay, power 10. And then what's another one?
Another fun one is an ejector crab. This is when you're kind of off timing and your blade slips and it flings you out of the water.
Ouch.
And this is not good. It's never happened to me, so fingers crossed it doesn't happen tomorrow.
And you're racing tomorrow, what time? Or Sunday?
Tomorrow at 1:44, but BU will be also racing Sunday around the same times.
Okay, so since I now know all this lingo, do you have a spot in the boat for me?
Yes! Oh my gosh, come on over.
So catch us racing this weekend at the Head of the Charles. Back to you and Natalie and George at the desk.
Oh, I can't wait for that, Kara. Thank you. Terrier hockey is dominating the ice, and we have our sports correspondents here to give us the rundown ahead of the team series this weekend. Hannah, Anthony, what can we expect for this game?
Well, Natalie, #1 ranked Boston University is set to face #3 ranked Michigan State tonight in the first game of a highly contested weekend series. Now, there are so many exciting things to look forward to about this matchup, but I want to hear from you first, Hannah. What are you most excited for?
I'm definitely excited to see the goalie matchup. Both teams have stellar netminders set to start this weekend. On the Terrier side, BU boasts Mikhail Yegorov, who made his mark halfway through the season last year. The Spartans return goaltender of the year finalist from last season, Trey Augustine. These two are some of the best goalies in the country, so I'm excited to see how they stack up against one another. Anthony, what about you?
Well, I'm excited to see if both Coles can score goals. Point leader Cole Hudson and goal leader Cole Iserman have built such great chemistry together. And with Hudson's puck movement skills combined with Iserman's shooting abilities, their connection can make a big difference in the game's outcome.
Puck drop is scheduled for 7 p.m. on both nights, with doors to Agganis opening at 6 p.m. On Saturday's game, the Terriers will honor former head coach Jack Parker, who's being inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame. If you couldn't secure tickets, you can stream the game on ESPN2. Now, back to the desk.
Thanks, Anthony and Hannah. Moving from the ice to the court, Celtics coach Joe Mazzulla surprised reporters with a scrimmage last Tuesday. Instead of the players playing the coaches, media would play against Mazzulla and his coaching staff. Mazzulla, a 3-time All-Star in the Big East Conference, dusted off his sneakers with his decorated coaching staff that includes former Duke national champion Emile Jefferson and former NBA player Phil Pressey. The game ended in a landslide win for the Celtics coaches, beating the reporters 57-4.
Heading back to BU, let's hear from sports correspondent Anthony Gasowski about a team dominating in the water like the Celtics coaches did on land.
The Boston University men's water polo team have been waiting all year to get back in action. Fine-tuning everything from play formations, goal scoring, and sprint swimming, they're looking to maintain top dog status ahead of their upcoming division tournament. In their first of just 2 regular season tournaments, the Terriers went undefeated, outscoring all 4 of their opponents 66-32. And just this past weekend, they went on another undefeated run, earning the top seed in the New England division. But their strength has been known beyond the region. The Collegiate Water Polo Association ranked BU 9th in the nation, with goals to climb even higher. Last season was a historic one for the team. They captured their first ever New England Division title and made their debut in the national tournament. Club president and goalkeeper Demir Genç says this was the first time he's seen this much success from the program.
We've always kind of been in the mix or in the running for a championship, for a divisional championship, but never really been able to close it out.
While their competitive season lasts just 1 month, the team spends their long offseason giving back to the community and strengthening team bonds. This past spring, around 50 alum participated in the program's annual Alumni Memorial Tournament, where all donations went toward a scholarship in honor of Austin Brashears, a former teammate who passed away in 2012.
So we're so thankful to all our alumni, family, and friends that have so kindly donated to our team over the past years.
The men's water polo team was honored as BU's Club Sports Team of the Year. Genç says being a part of BU's community of 37 club sports means so much to him and everyone else on the team.
It was fantastic seeing that group of guys like gel.
The Terriers are looking to defend last year's title as they now set their eyes on next weekend's New England Division Tournament, which will be held just down the Green Line at Boston College. The winner will earn an automatic bid to the National Collegiate Club Championships, which will be held on the weekend of November 7th. Now with BU finishing in the top 4 in last year's national tournament, which is the furthest any team in New England has gone since 1997, they hope to make an even bigger splash this time around. Reporting for Good Morning BU, I'm Anthony Kosowski.
Thanks, Anthony. Stay with us after the break for more news on the ongoing deployment of the National Guard, new Supreme Court rulings, and the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas.
Eva Marie smoked 12,000 packs of cigarettes over 15 years. She quit, and now there's a new lung cancer screening that could save her life. You stopped smoking, now start screening. No matter how much you smoked, early detection could save you. Talk to your doctor or learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back. Trump has threatened to, quote, kill Hamas members after Hamas-linked gunmen have tried to reassert control in the Gaza Strip, namely by carrying out a public execution. Trump made the threat just 3 days after a ceasefire deal was reached in the Middle East. In response to these post-ceasefire attacks by Hamas, Trump said that he might allow Israel to resume fighting if Hamas keeps disregarding the deal. Trump clarified that U.S. forces would not get involved in carrying out his threat to Hamas, but rather allies who are geographically closer to them.
A federal judge blocked the Trump administration from mass layoffs during the government shutdown, arguing that the firings are illegal. The ruling is a legal setback for Trump, who is threatening layoffs to pressure Democrats into a deal. After the decision was made, Trump threatened to keep firing workers, cutting federal agencies, and rearranging budgets. Critics of the administration say they have been operating without regard to the law. The administration has plans for layoffs beyond 10,000 workers, as well as plans for changing federal staffing and budgeting.
The Trump administration is sanctioning the CIA to conduct covert operations in Venezuela. This is a significant escalation in a fierce campaign against Venezuela's authoritarian leader, Nicolás Maduro. In recent weeks, the administration has attacked several boats Trump claims were carrying drugs to the U.S., killing 27 people. The new operations would allow land-based strikes in Venezuelan territory. Maduro spoke out at the National Sovereignty and Peace Council, stating the need for peace over war, but President Trump has since ordered an end to diplomatic talks.
Moving from international borders to Capitol Hill, U.S. Capitol Police have launched an investigation after a swastika was found inside a GOP congressional office. The flag, which was hanging on the wall behind legislative aide Angelo Elia during a virtual meeting, had its stripes rearranged in the shape of a swastika. Republican Representative Dave Taylor of Ohio, who Elia works for, condemned the image as, quote, vile and deeply inappropriate, and says he's cooperating with Capitol Police in their investigation. This coming a day after a Telegram group chat between young Republican group leaders throughout the country was uncovered and filled with racial jokes and Holocaust praise.
On Wednesday, the U.S. Supreme Court heard arguments on a Louisiana-based voting rights case, which could be used to undercut the landmark 1965 Voting Rights Act. The case began when a group of black voters in Louisiana sought to create a second majority black congressional district, which they say would more accurately reflect the demographics of the state's population. Under the Voting Rights Act, the Supreme Court in the past has required states to create opportunity districts, like what the Louisiana voters had argued for. The conservative majority of the court announced over the summer that they would instead consider the case based on whether the Voting Rights Act Section 2, that has states consider race when drawing congressional districts, violates the Constitution. Louisiana Secretary of State Nancy Landry asked the court to rule in the case by early January and keep the state's current schedule ahead of midterms next year.
President Trump says he may send the National Guard to San Francisco next. At a news conference on Wednesday, Trump said officials had requested troops, though he did not say which ones would be deployed. A spokeswoman for California Governor Gavin Newsom responded, saying the state plans to defy any deployment. This comes after the administration has deployed National Guard troops to other cities, even with pushback, including Los Angeles, Washington, D.C., Chicago, and Portland, Oregon.
On Wednesday, dozens of reporters packed up their desks and walked out of the Pentagon after refusing to sign new rules issued by the Secretary of Defense. The new rules would dictate that journalists could and could not report and where they had access. Around 4 in the afternoon, they carried boxes, books, and even a copier out of the building, saying the new restrictions strike at the heart of a free press. President Trump defended the rules and criticized the media for being, quote, very disruptive while leaving the Pentagon. Journalists say their coverage of the armed force will continue.
And
stay with us as we bring it back to BU to hear more about upcoming student performances after this break.
I wonder if you know that I want the best for you. I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that the big homie needs help too. That you can't just rebound from everything. I know you've been grinding.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
But how long will you fight solo? I wonder if you know that we can get help.
Welcome back to campus. The weekend's here and Boston's packed with events. We're joined live in the studio by correspondent Samantha Genzer for the rundown on all the fun.
Thanks, Natalie. We'll start with one of the city's biggest tradition, the Head of the Charles Regatta. Racing kicked off this morning at 7:45, so if you haven't yet, head down to the river and cheer on the thousands of rowers. If you're looking for some mystery tonight, the Exchange Street Bistro in Malden is hosting its monthly murder mystery dinner theater. Each show takes you into a new time period and challenges you to crack a fresh case. Saturday morning starts early with the Pumpkin Dash 5K on Revere Beach. Once you cross the finish line, stick around for the Fall Festival with cookie decorating, live music, and even a free pumpkin patch. Then spice up your Saturday afternoon at Spicetoberfest in City Hall Plaza. Check out Boston's food scene featuring local chefs, hot sauce makers, and plenty of flavor. And to wrap up the weekend, the historic Wayne Theater is turning 100. Celebrate with an open house full of performances, behind-the-scenes tours, and a chance to win tickets to Cirque du Soleil's 'Twas the Night Before. Whether you're racing, running, or just relaxing, there's plenty to enjoy across Boston this weekend.
Thanks, Sam. BU a cappella group Oral Fixation is hosting their annual Oktoberfest performance tonight. The group, alongside other a cappella groups from across campus, will show off their vocal abilities in a Halloween-themed event. The show will be at 7 tonight at Marsh Chapel. Tickets are available on Oral Fixation's Instagram. And if that's not enough to satisfy your a cappella needs, BU's all-male competition group, the Dear Abbeys, will also be doing a show tomorrow night. And we're joined by group's presidents Ethan Warner and Brett Mitchell to give us all the details. Over to you, George.
Thanks, Natalie. Ethan, Brett, thank you so much for joining us. Could you tell us a little bit more about the Dear Abbeys for us?
Yeah, absolutely. As was mentioned, we are BU's only all-male a cappella group. We were founded in 1992, which means that for over 30 years, the DRVs have been performing in Boston, around Boston, even nationally. We make a lot of side projects like music videos, film TikToks, dance, and we do sing. We host 4 shows per year on campus.
Great, thanks for sharing. And then I want to touch a little bit on Oktoberfest coming up tonight. What can audience members expect?
Yeah, so it should be a really fun time. Each of the 13 a cappella groups at BU are going to be performing. They're each going to perform a couple of songs from their repertoire, and they're each going to have themed costumes to go along with their performance. So expect fun times and good jams.
It sounds like a great way to head up to Halloween. So thank you both so much for coming in studio, and thank you to everyone for watching. That's going to do it for us at Good Morning BU. I'm George Lehman. Stay safe and have a great weekend.